Hello, I'm Joanne Brady from Kids Days Out Reviews, and this is Friday 11. And today joining us, we have Ali and Joy.
Hello, I'm Ali from Bug Bird and Bee. My hangout thingy isn't working still. My lower third not working. Where's Joy gone?
I suspect there's a postman in the vicinity. Oh, she's back.
Door-to-door salesman thing. I don't even know what he was trying to push at me. I think they were annoying. Hello, I'm Joy.
Right. So this morning, obviously, we've had a lot of fun with looking at the sun and Ben in our retinas for the near eclipse that we're going to have for the next 90 years or something, I think, isn't it? That we're going to have?
Any full eclipse. We're going to have a partial.
Yeah. Okay, so did we watch it?
Yeah, I kind of, there's the sun, looked away, took lots of photos, looked at it, and then I thought, I need to clean my windows. So I went outside, let the sun, took loads more pictures again, but it was really cloudy. It was a bit weird because all the crows started roosting and sort of like came flying down onto the rooftops and look a bit confused. And then when it went over, I could hear chickens roosting, crowing in the background, as if to say, oh, it's another morning kind of thing. But it's blazing sunlight there now. So, yeah, it was sort of like a non-event, really.
Yeah, I mean, I put my chair in the garden and kind of watched it until it reached its peak, and then it started going around the other side, and I thought, well, it's just the same as I've seen 20 minutes ago, but at the other side, and I thought, I've got work to do, and yeah, I'm going to have to crack on really before I bend my retinas anymore. But yeah, one thing we did notice last time, because I think the last one was 1999, and that was the one thing we all noticed, was that as soon as the eclipse sort of reached its peak, it was like the entire world was shut down. And everybody stopped, and all the birds stopped singing, and it was just really freaky.
Yeah.
And I don't think we was expecting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did happen today as well.
Yeah. Like I said, all the crows started roosting. It got very cold, and I was stood there, like this. And then I thought, oh, it's really cold. Cold breath, hot breath in cold. But yeah, and it got really dark and weird. And now it's like, oh, it's sunny out there now.
There's going to be a lot of confused rabbits today, I think, and things like that. Confused rabbits and hedgehogs.
I think it missed me here. It was just like really bright on the school run before it started. And I was like, oh, look, there's the bright sun. Oh, look, that's where it's going to be. Got back, I was all clouded over. I was like, oh, I'm glad I didn't bother with special glasses. There's nothing there. And yeah, it got a little bit cold. And then it was like, yeah, no, still cloudy. Still cloudy. I'm getting text messages. I'm watching it on the telly thinking, oh, this is exciting, once in a lifetime opportunity. No, nothing's happening. And I did have a quick, and there was just this gap in the clouds, and I just, with my sunglasses on, saw it zooming across, so it was quite, oh my God, I saw it. But, it was, I think it was felt like a lot of hype, and I suppose if you knew the stuff behind it, because my oldest son's really excited because he's physics and maths and what they were saying on the telly, then the science behind it, the maths behind it apparently is like really fascinating. So, yeah.
So were they doing anything at the school today then, do you think, to watch it? Because obviously it's been a school day, a bit awkward, isn't it?
Kieran's, because he's got PE today, but they're not actually doing PE, they're taking him out. They've all been given glasses, which cost me 80p. And the science department have got the telescopes, so they're all being taken out to watch it. The girls' school, they've got a video camera set up in the playground so they can watch it indoors. But when I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, me as teachers looked at me and say, "What eclipse?" I was like, "What planet have you been on?" But yeah, we've been watching all the build-up with Dara Bryan and Professor Cox on stargazing thing. That's been interesting. But yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
They're having a school photo at my son's school. Are you watching the eclipse? No, we're going to have a school photo. Let's hope it's not too dark.
Yeah, so I don't know what our school are planning really. They haven't asked us to send anything in, like glasses wise. I haven't even mentioned it. I don't know. So, I mean, part of me doesn't want them to go out and look at it because obviously, you know, especially the 4-year-old, you don't want them burning their eyes. But then you think, well, you know, it's another how many years till the next one, and they're going to miss it. And I don't know. I'll have to see what they've done really.
Yeah, I was quite pleased that Kieran's school taken the time to sort of like, you know, weeks ago emailed us and said like buy some glasses and this is what's going to happen. So I'm quite pleased that they, you know, taken the time to do something.
So the school my daughter's going to in September, they've got their own observatory, and they were doing all sorts of things with it this morning and having their old school up there and things like that. So she's missed out a little bit, I think. But yeah, so it'll be. I think she'll have finished that school by the time the next one comes around. So, but yeah, she's very excited that they've got an observatory. She likes that sort of thing. So yeah, so my daughter's going to big school next year. We're going to have to get her a phone, which I'm sort of gutted about. But she's going to be going on the bus on her own. But you know, having a phone isn't just a phone these days. It's not just a text. It's not just ringing mummy to see, you know, tell her you're going to be late. It's Instagram, it's Pinterest, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, and we just wanted to talk this morning a little bit about social media really and the challenges for our children who haven't really grown up with it. Well, they have grown up with it, but they've seen it from a different perspective that our generation have seen it really, I think. And to them, it's just going to be normal, and I'm a bit frightened that they haven't adapted at 10 years old, 11 years old, they haven't adapted the skills to cope with things that can be thrown at them via social media. And Ali, your son is how old? 13, is he?
12, and he'll be 13 in June. So for a very long time I've had, oh, can I join Facebook? Oh, so-and-so's got Instagram. This kind of thing. And, oh, can we set up a Gmail account? Because he got a phone, not last year but the year before, but that's via his dad, not me. And we did eventually set up a Gmail account so that he could get apps and everything, but he has to be 13. So I did a fake account to say he was 13, and I said, well, you'll have to delete this and have a new account when you are 13 because you'll be always a year older, and it's just going to be icky mess. Anyway, his phone never worked anyway because it was second hand, and when he did get it, he didn't really use it for anything. Not like app-wise, he had games, and I think he understood, because I went through something online, and he kind of understood, you know, I wasn't coping with what was happening, so how could he? So he sort of like agreed, said, no, I'm not ready to be online. And he has sort of like said, I don't think I'll bother with Facebook, it's for old people. But he wants Instagram, and I think he's swaying having a Tumblr account, and he definitely wants to be on YouTube. He's going to be rocking on YouTube. He's so funny, and he's, because of his drama and everything, he's got that natural charisma for YouTube. I think he would, you know. But Kaz from the Frugal Family did a post about social media and all the do's and don'ts and everything for her oldest, so I'm going to print that out and show him. But I think he's very aware of what he's going to be, you know, faced with. I'm just hoping he just won't have time for it because of schoolwork and everything. Do you know what I mean? But I know last year there was an incident with a girl who was trolling people, and the police were called to the school, and she was named and shamed. So I think he sort of like already knows repercussions of not using social media properly. So I think he's been a bit more wary. But yeah, when he said, oh, Facebook's for old people, it's like, ah.
It's not wrong. I mean, the demographic on Facebook is getting larger. I mean, the biggest growth area on Facebook last year was sort of accounts of people who were 55 and over. As more and more people get onto it, and obviously the ones where the young people are now is Instagram, it's Twitter, and it's YouTube. And so my daughter, she's 10. She's very much a chat box. She writes her own stories, etc. She wants to be the next Zoella. So she really does, and she wants to be. She was doing a makeup tutorial the other day. It's like you can't do makeup, you know, you're 10. But she was doing the tutorial and getting used to filming it and things. And I think I would like to give her something to do like that, because I think it's, you know, as long as you're not getting trolled, it's quite a nice little thing just to get your own confidence and experience, really. And I think that children do need to be on some degree of social media just to get used to using it, to get used to.
I mean,
you know, to develop a skin against the people who will troll you and.
Yeah, IT is taught from the reception. You know, they're growing up with IT, whether it's, you know, learning how to program a Bebot or, you know, anything. So it's ingrained from the time they start school. So it's not you can't get away from it. Even if they decide not to use social media, it's always going to be there in the background at some point. So it's, you know, so it's not something you can run away from. But, you know, hopefully with our backgrounds we can, you know, coach them properly, and hopefully they won't be such overwhelming experience. But yeah, it is a bit scary because it's a completely different world. You know, when I was his age, we had computers. We had a ZX Spectrum and the bat and ball thing next door had, you know, kind of. But it's not like now. I didn't even know what IT was at that age. So yeah.
No, so we're the ZX Spectrum. We spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time coding my own games and things like that. Very, very basic stuff, because obviously you couldn't do anything more than that anyway in those days. But yeah, I mean, the very idea that somebody could then link into that computer from across the other side of the world and say things to you about that game, just to me at that age would have probably blown my head. I mean, I remember being in a lecture when I did media studies to A level, and we was in a lecture at the age of 17, and this was, 94. And the lecturer said, oh, we've got this new thing coming. It's kind of like teletext. It's on your computer, but you can have your own teletext pages, and you can interact with other people, and you can send them in. And we all just went, no, that's not going to happen. That's just mental. And me, I couldn't get my head around how it actually physically worked in terms of wires and things like that. If somebody showed me a modem and said, look, this is how we do it, and use this, I probably would have understood it. But yeah, then it just blew my head. But you know, the possibilities these days are people. The connectivity that you have and the people that you can meet through social media is probably the scariest side of it. Well, exactly.
I think you're right there, how things are changing for the kids though, because like me and Donna from Little Lily Pad and Co, we went to a technology college. So when we were 11, we had internal mail. So just listening to like people my age that didn't have that, and how the difference is, and how people think I'm such an expert on the computer, just because I've been using this sort of stuff longer, and this, I think it just makes such a difference, and that's why, again, I think it's important to let the kids on as young as you're comfortable with. And for me, I mean, especially the whole 13 thing with the Facebook policy, my experience, mine are 18, 11, 7 and 5. If you wait till they're 13, you're getting less and less control. They're hormonal, they're like, no, mum, they want to do their own thing, they don't want to be treated like a kid. But if you go on at 10, and you go, do you know what? You're not really supposed to go on Facebook, but you can go on as long as I can watch and have access to your account. Then, you know, you've got that control, and you can say to them, oh, look, you're doing this. I mean, it's just really silly, really. But we have certain rules. You don't do it in your bedroom. You don't give out your name, address, your school, that sort of thing. And my son had sent a private message to his friend with his address. And I just said to him, but what if someone hacked into your account? They now know where you live. I've told you, one of my rules is you don't share your address. You want to tell your friend where you live, tell him face to face, not over the computer. But just, I wouldn't have had that if he was 13, because I wouldn't have known what he was doing, because it was private, you know. So I think just letting them on as early as you can, so you can teach them and say. And I think Facebook is the safest one for me, because I've seen my cousin's kid, and she's 11, and she's on Instagram, and she is showing pictures I don't approve of. She's not, I've heard, like the half undressed things. She's not doing that, but photos saying exactly where her location is, her school badge, I'm on my way to school. because she wants to fit in, and it's an open profile, it's not a private profile, and I just don't think these kids know what dangers they're putting themselves in, and the parents aren't really keeping an eye that much because they don't understand what they're doing either, because they don't use Instagram or whatever it is. So yeah, I think Facebook's probably for me the safest one to start them with, and as you say, because most adults are on there anyway, so they're watching them, they know how to use it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would say I would if he does decide to have Facebook. I'll have access to his account anyway. But you know, I wouldn't be able to keep track if he was in a secret group. I don't know. Can I do that? Oh, I guess because I would have access to his account, wouldn't I? But we've only got one computer anyway, so we'd have to juggle time. I think with Instagram and something like Tumblr, he can have it on his phone, so he doesn't, you know. I don't know. It's something to think about. And obviously, I've warned him about, you know, not taking pictures of certain parts of the body and that kind of thing, and not asking other people to share pictures of parts of their body and things like that. Yeah, I think we'll have a very, you know, clear-cut conversation on what he is supposed to be doing and everything. And I think that's what kind of warned him off Facebook, that it was just going to be too complicated for him to, you know, keep a grasp of everything. But I think a lot of his friends say that they're on social media, but they're not.
Yeah, I think as well, you know, your own child as well. I mean, you know that Kieran, for him, that's probably the most sensible thing is to do Facebook.
Oh,
whereas I'm kind of like with mine, do you know what, I don't really want to. I mean, she's got a friend who's on Instagram.
He's not 12, he's 30.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So my 10-year-old, she's got a friend who's a couple of years older, and she was recently allowed to have Instagram. And then the mum said to me, oh, she's got about 1,000 followers already. Is that possible? And I said, no, it's not. I said, I've got about 500 tops for my blog, and I've been established a couple of years. For a 13-year-old girl to have 1,000 followers within a couple of months, I said, that's wrong on Instagram. I said, why are they following her? You know, because it's supposed to be a private account, but she's just accepted anybody following her as well. And I said, that's a big number. And that's a suspiciously big number, and I would be very concerned if that was my daughter suddenly had 1,000 followers at that. But then the mum isn't on any social media, so she doesn't understand that that's probably abnormal, really. And I would be very concerned as to who was looking at pictures of my daughter on, you know, at that impressionable age, really, and why they felt it necessary to follow a 13-year-old girl. But my daughter, she's 10. She's got a Kindle. She uses it for reading books, but also for browsing. But I have allowed her on Pinterest, because on Pinterest you can go out and you can follow what you like and what you enjoy. She pins a lot of Harry Potter stuff. She pins a lot of cat photos. But you don't have to have friends on there to make it work. You can have no followers at all and still be able to use Pinterest. But I've said, you know, if anybody comments on anything that she's put on, she's to show me, which people don't tend to do on Pinterest anyway. But yeah, she has pinned a few things that I've looked at, and because I follow her on my Pinterest accounts, I can say actually that's not, even though she doesn't know why things are inappropriate, there's going to be people looking at that and go, well, that's not really appropriate for a 10-year-old girl to be pinning, and I can go back through and say, you know, sit down with her and say, I think that's inappropriate. Why do you think people might think bad of you if you put something like that? And just remind her that actually whatever she does on the internet is traceable, and it leaves a footprint, and you can't retract that footprint. You can delete stuff, but you can't stop people having seen it in the first place. So, you know, just to be careful, and to think about and be mindful as to what she's doing when she's doing it. And I think starting off on one sort of low level, low harm social network and building it up, I think is the way to go. But like you say, you know your own children, don't you, and what they enjoy and what they're capable of and how sensible they are.
I think with social media, though, it's easy to get sort of caught up in stuff as well. There was a lad many moons ago now, and there was a Twitter conversation. I can't remember which football team was playing, but someone didn't get a goal or something, and there was a racial tweet made by other people, and this lad joined in and also tweeted something racist, and he ended up with the police coming to his house. I think the school suspended him and everything, and he wasn't very old. He was caught up with what other people were tweeting. He was just trying to join in. So you know, I think even with the most level-headed kids, it is easy just to get caught up in these sort of things as well. So, as you said before, it's quite, you know, they're quite impressionable and young and whatever. So,
but then I think we've all done that as adults as well.
Yeah, possibly. I just think that as adults we kind of have coping mechanisms a lot better than sort of your average hormonal 14-year-old does. You know, something that happens at that stage, you know, if something happened in the playground at that age, you would probably remember it for the rest of your life and be completely traumatised. So for it to happen on social media and have that knowledge that actually somebody across the other side of the world can now see it, and you know, there's photos of girls being bullied and clips of girls being bullied, and it gets put on YouTube, and suddenly it's got 1 million views. And you know, you'd have had girls killing themselves over the shame of what's happened on some of these, I say horseplay really, but you know, in the playground is one thing, but having it broadcast to the rest of the world, I think is where the danger is. And I think it is quite a bad age, you know, to be suddenly thrust upon social media and expect to know how to use it as an extension of the real world, really.
That's the basis of that new film Unfriended, isn't it? That looks quite good, actually, about a girl gets drunk or something and videoed, and it gets put online, and she kills herself, and then she says I think she comes back from the dead or something and starts killing the people, going, which one of you put it up? But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it pans out as good as the trailer. Unfriended, not been paid to promote this film, it just looks really good.
So from social media challenges, and what challenges have we had? Just general in parenting, really, that can make the rest of us feel normal.
Yeah.
You had a bad time, Ali?
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. You know, like I said, I've had it for a couple of years with Kieran being battered. Oh, so and so's had, you know, got this account, and so and so that account, and yeah. I guess we don't know until it actually happens. You know, I think the day that he's 13, I'll be sat there. You know, yeah. It's look. This is why I'm so interested in keeping on top of social media, being a blogger and social influencer, what they call it. I have to. You know, this is why I'm interested in getting into YouTube, because you know, that's an area I barely know. And Tumblr, again, I started a Tumblr blog a couple of years ago, but I've never done anything with it. But I think I need to get back into it just so I know how things work. You know, just on the basis that that's what Kieran would be using. Oh my God.
Yeah, talking of social media influence, the nominations are open this week for Brit Mum's Brilliance in Blogging Awards. Sort of the annual ordeal we all put ourselves through, basically, as to win an award. Now, I was looking at this year to win the best family travel blog at Mads, and it was a really good experience. The bibs would be good as well, just to be nominated would be good. But we're thinking, if you enjoy Friday at 11 as much as we do, and you've stuck for somebody to vote for in the video category, then we would
you just think we're brilliant.
Well, exactly. It's called Brilliance in Blogging, and we are brilliant, sort of, ish. But we have, I think we have at least maybe one viewer, maybe two. Yeah. We might get 2 nominations if we're lucky.
Yeah. I think.
So
I don't know anybody else in the parenting who do hangouts regularly as we do, apart from Helen, of course, Helen Neal. But yeah, the concept of having a chat show weekly, yeah, I think we got a chance of being nominated. 1 or 2.
Or in the Inspire, innovation, or whatever it is.
So what have we got lined up for this coming week then? Anything exciting?
We are definitely going to go and see the new SpongeBob movie. That is out this weekend, isn't it? I hope so, because my kids are very, very excited. There is a relaxed performance of a concert in Birmingham on Sunday, and we're and ahh'd because we've got so much to do. We have decided not to go, but if you do have a child with special needs, I'm sure there is still tickets left. So it's all we've introduced ventriloquist dummies, and the kids can get up and dance and whatever. They don't have to be quiet, sit down, and they were brilliant last time we went to see the Gruffalo. They put in so much effort to help these children. And then we've got our statement review is changing from a statement to an EHC, whatever it's called, ready for my child to move up to the new school, which is quite scary because the lad that's the year older than him hasn't even moved up to the new school yet. So we've got to do all that paperwork, and so it's a lot of stress. I bet you wish you didn't ask.
Most exciting. Oh, sorry.
No, go on, you go.
Most exciting thing I'm doing next week is I'm going to choose the decoration for my new bathroom. Going for a consultation, choose the tiles, the colour scheme and everything. And we're getting, because I'm social housing. But I've never known them to, my last place, they just did it. But I'm actually going to get some input. So, yeah, that's the most exciting thing I'm doing next week, and preparing for the Easter holidays. So getting the house up together, we plan to do the garden at some point. Dropped off a load of, and my youngest is 7. How did I forget that? Yeah, Mia's 7 on Tuesday.
Oh,
so
happy birthday, Mia.
Yeah, well, Caitlin's going to a birthday party tomorrow. So I've pushed Kieran off to see his granddad so that I can take Mia out for the day, and we're going to have like a girly shopping sort of one-on-one, because I rarely get to have one-on-one with all the kids. Kieran a bit more because he has TD days different to the girls, but it's just nice to have one-on-one with one of the children for once. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got birthday party tomorrow, 4-year-olds, so that's going to be fun. Bouncy Castle party, and then my oldest one's going on her end of school residential trip on Monday. And so what to do at the end of every year is all the year 6s get to go on a residential. There's only about 7 of them, and I'm really excited about that. She's going to an outdoor pursuit centre. She's going away for a few days, and then yeah, basically Easter, a lot of Easter stuff going on at school. We're going to have to make a cake at some point for the cake store, I think, which is just, I might just have to go and buy one, I think. And then next Friday afternoon, so you'll be after we do this next Friday, we're going to a music festival where my daughters are playing the violins. So they're a bit nervous about that one, I think. Yeah, got a busy week coming up.
So we plan to hang out through Easter, because I'll be available.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's still a normal day next Friday, isn't it? It's not Good Friday till the week after, I think. So
you've got 2 Fridays following that, haven't we? Easter. Yeah, because next week I think we might have 2 guests. No, 1 guest. Sorry, we might have Annie.
Okay.
And I know Shane from Oliver's Madhouse. She wants to join in, but she's had an operation next week, so she's going to watch us. But the following week after that, she's going to come and join us. So, if anybody else wants to be a guest.
So then we can advertise it as Friday at 11 with Jamie Oliver.
But not that Jamie Oliver.
That's not her name.
Yes, if you want to be a special guest and you have something sensible to say, although it's not compulsory, obviously, then let us know.
Don't sell products. As long as you're not selling a product, it's not. You have to pay us lots of spondoolies for that.
Yeah, because we get so many millions of views, it's well worth every penny.
Yeah, and if you're a commercial company watching and you want to advertise your product to our 6 viewers, then feel free to get in touch.
Stop underestimating us. I've had 149 views on last week.
Oh, well done.
Right, well that's about 11:30. So we shall spare you all and let you get back to your jobs, and we'll see you all at Friday at 11 next week. It's goodbye from me.
Bye.